All right, welcome to this episode of Quick Hits, brought to you by Rollout Marketing. Joining me today is a very special guest, my good friend Zach Kenney. He is the owner of ZK Painting and Finishing in Boston, Massachusetts. Is that the right name?
Just ZK painting.
ZK Painting. And, he's very casually known as like the best painter in our industry or whatever. But honestly, for today's episode, I don't care how good he can paint. We're not here to talk about that. What I brought Zach on to talk about today is something else that he's an expert at, and that is organic social media. So, Zach, thanks for coming on board. I like seeing your face, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here, especially when it's wearing my hat.
Heyo. All right, let's start with this. Give me your thesis, Zach. Organic social media is what?
Is being done poorly or fundamentally wrong by almost every business, small business for sure. And when done right, is an exponential growth curve, massive ROI, super powerful marketing tool.
How did I know that you'd be speaking my language and start with a negative? Right. Critical eye. Everyone's doing it wrong. That's my thesis. Great. All right. No, I appreciate that. And I agree. Obviously we have clients and we have our business, our painting business, and yeah, people are terrible at it. Yeah. So then let's start there then. So what are some of the most common things that you see that contractors are doing wrong with their social media?
I would say there's a few. One of them is just insanely vanilla, boring, no value add content. That one's first. Second one is just really just poor content all around, low, crappy videos, crappy photos, things that just reflect badly on your company. And then I would say third is probably just doing stuff because you think you're supposed to, or doing things without intention, copying what you see others doing. Because like I said, no one's doing this well. So if we're copying other people, we're probably not getting any results.
Right. Because I kind of infamously tell everyone to copy other people when it comes to growing a painting business, right? But copy the people that are doing it right, not the people that are already terrible. So do you recommend that people use their social media feed? Is it like a lead generator? What is the purpose of even having an organic social media?
It starts out as a strong referral tool. It should be used as referrals. It's about in person. It is not about a stranger on the internet finding you. It's about a sticky way to stay top of mind with current clients and to let them refer you to potential future clients using your social media. And it's a way of documenting what you are doing and showing what is it like to hire this company before I even pick up the phone.
So that's really what we have used our social media presence to do. Is I don't know about the in-person referral. I don't know if someone's saying, "Oh, hey, you should use Ellison Painting. Check out their social media." What we see people doing is they Google exterior painters near me, and we show up maybe our ad shows up or our organic listing shows up, and they might check out our website, but they're looking for some sort of proof behind that. And so then they come to our social media feed and we use it as validation that everything that we said on the website is correct. Is that a decent approach?
That is a great first step. Mm-hmm. And as you progress, if Mrs. Jones' project was documented, the behind the scenes of it, not just the before and after, but the behind the scenes of it were documented on your social, she's far more likely to get excited about following because she's watching her project happen on Instagram. And there's no difference in her mind between you and Kim Kardashian. You're both on her feed and there's her house. And so then she's going to say, hey, Miss Johnson, here's my house being worked on. Let me send you the post.
Now, are you recommending that we do that for every single one of our projects? Because before you answer, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Your business is very different than almost everyone else's business. Your average job size, even though you do residential, is probably 15 times bigger than my average job size, which means I have to have 15 times more projects going on compared to your one to generate the same amount of revenue. So if I have, like at Ellison Painting, we do 25 to 30 projects a week. Should I
Yep.
be featuring all 25 to 30
You
projects
could
on
do
my
them on
social?
stories.
Okay.
So you could do them on stories, and then I would probably, if I'm you, I would be choosing the clients the mavens, those clients you have that you can kind of go like, yeah, I have a feeling like this lady has some pull with her network.
Okay. So what are the consequences if someone doesn't have, if maybe they don't have any social media presence or all at all, or maybe they just have a bad strategy? Actually, start with which one's worse. Is it worse to not have a
It's way
presence? Or,
worse to have a bad strategy
okay.
and be doing it because you're like investing. You're spending some time and money
Hmm.
and you're getting no ROI. And I think to talk about this, like the key piece here is the ROI is tracked. Like everyone has a different metric for success. The first thing we do with social media is go, what is the metric I'm tracking to say this is successful or not? I talked to a social media marketing manager for a painting company this week, and I said, what did your boss tell you? How do you know you're winning? She's like, I have no idea. Like is it leads? Is it just sales? Is it revenue?
Hmm.
Or a lot of it is, for a lot of people, is when I go out into the world, do people talk to me about my social media posts? For some people, that's fine. If that's what you want and that's how
Mhm.
you feel like it's a good investment and you get pumped up when you're at a dinner party and someone talks about a post you made, cool. But I would say as a business owner, I want revenue to
Mhm.
be the metric.
But that's hard to track with organic social media.
It shouldn't be that hard. If I ask every client, how did you hear about us?
Yeah, but they say, "Oh, I found you on Instagram." Okay, was that an ad that you were running, or was it organic? Like what?
If they
What does
say
that
they
mean?
found you on Instagram, I mean, I don't run ads on Instagram. So,
See, we do. We run a lot of ads on Facebook and Instagram, so
okay.
it could mean a million things.
But I think you could also probably put that next to you have a number that you know how many come from ads now.
Mhm.
So you could sort of subtract out that percentage and look at the delta.
Yeah, brilliant. So, what are the consequences then of a bad social media strategy?
They can, it's waste of time and money.
Mhm.
Probably more than anything, it's that. Sometimes it is divisive and can like reduce your sales, your closing rates, I would imagine.
So, like, if
Um,
you during election season are very vocal about one side or the other, could that be
yep.
bad?
If you are vocal about the local football team and
Oh.
somebody moved from out of state and they like Green Bay
Mhm.
and you're talking about the Lions, like there's no like I mean, I don't know. But generally speaking, I don't like I am every single everything when I walk into the door to sell a job.
Mhm.
I'm your religion, I'm your everything. Like, yeah, totally. I don't lie, but like, you know.
No,
And
yeah,
so
you're kind of a blank slate. Yeah, it's mirroring. It's a sales technique. I
yeah.
get it.
And we're not going to post about our dogs or our family or unless those are competitive advantages in our sales process.
So that's funny that you mentioned those things because that's what we post on our social medias. We focus my family very heavily in our marketing, and we've got a huge response from that. People like that. They say, "Oh, you guys, you seem like a real family. You seem like a nice family." It helps that my wife is really beautiful, and my kids are beautiful, and my dogs are beautiful, right? But okay, I'm glad that you clarified that. As long as it's a strategic advantage, but if you're just posting it to post it, it's silly,
There's
right?
two types of posts. There's a give, a post that gives value to people
Hmm.
through entertainment or education. And then there's a post that's a take, which can just be I'm taking your attention and I'm putting things I like in front of you.
Hmm.
This makes me happy.
Hmm.
I'm taking from you. We want the platform to just be here's me giving you more value, more value, more value, more value, because when I give enough value, you'll eventually want to return the favor.
Yeah, sweet. So even though you are capped in negativity so far, can you highlight some things that from contractors that you've seen that are doing it right? What are they
Yeah.
doing well with their social media?
Contractors that are doing it well, I think, are highlighting their process And they're, or for the ones that their process is the thing that makes them special. Like, I think people generally are kind of like, what's it going to be like when the painter shows up in my house? Like, I've had, like, I have a lot of experiences. I don't know what this is going to be like. If I can show them, and I can show them over and over and over again, and if I can, and the people who write good captions, like if I can write a caption that talks about, like, shows the passion that we have for what we do, it's another thing. People respond well to passion. So I would say people who are, like, generally speaking, the smaller contractors have a better time at this because they're kind of just, we were looking to do a documentary of every company, and it's a lot easier to do a documentary on yourself than it is for some employee to try to do a documentary on a company.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the bigger you get, the more distance from like the founder or the culture, the personality, I can imagine becomes more difficult.
Which is why when I do these framework consultings that I do, the key piece is the caption gets written with the owner or the management team involved in it.
Yeah. So let's assume that someone has hired you to help consult on organic social media, and they roll out that strategy, and it's working well. What are some of the benefits that they would see from a properly executed social media strategy?
I would say your increased close rate for sure. Like, that's a no brainer. You have people calling and saying, I want Ellison painting. I've been following you guys. Your family's so cool. That thing you did on that project really inspired me. I've been watching for 3 months. And now I want to hire not a painter. I want to hire Ellison painting. So your close rates will go up. Your pricing should go up. As soon as if you get that phone call, like, you're getting premium pricing.
Sure.
And then I would say, probably, especially for like you'll over time, you're going to see a re-engagement of current clients happening, right? The staying top of mind, right? It's people can have a great experience with a painter, and if 3 years goes by and they have to try to remember who that painter was just by like name, that's just not going to happen. But if they've been following along and you've not done anything to piss them off, they're not going to unfollow. 3 years later, you're top of mind.
Right.
And in fact, you probably posted some stuff about some jobs that put some ideas in their head that made them want to spend more money and get paint jobs sooner.
Sure. All right. Well, those all sound like pretty good benefits. I like higher closing rate. I like repeat customers. Does the number of followers you have on your social media, does that matter?
Not at all.
Why?
Because I only want to optimize for the people who would buy from me. So that's kind of the problem with my feed, is it's very distracting from what it's actually doing because I have a large following. But there are 50 people who've made up the $9 million of paint jobs I've sold. 50 followers. Yeah, and those 50 followers I care more about, and I create content for them in a way that's hidden behind a bunch of other satisfying video stuff. But if you had 200 clients that all followed, 200 people followed you, they all became clients with the sales cycle we just talked about. It's pretty great. So the one thing you would say is like, well, larger following could give you more credibility. And that's true. But the other thing that can give you great credibility is really intentional content that over time. So if you have 300 posts that are all really well done, that add a ton of value to a potential client and are like on brand, that's also going to add a ton of value, or it's also going to help with the trust.
Okay.
So follower count, I don't think is something that's talked about way too much.
So you shared a lot about kind of the type of content that should be posted. Is there like a recommended rhythm or cadence for these posts that you found to be most effective?
There is. It is as often as you can put out an amazing piece of content.
There's got to be a limit to that. Come on.
No, because cadence doesn't matter, because we're not talking about the algorithm and some stranger finding us. If you have a slower cadence, the only thing it does is it takes longer to develop a feed that looks really good to somebody.
But don't your followers get fatigued if you're posting like
Oh,
5
they're
things a day?
too much. Yes, I could see. I just don't think many people are ever going to be pushing the boundaries of too much.
Okay.
That's not a thing I've ever really experienced. There's a couple people like we all have you seen the people who have like 5,000-6,000 posts?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
those
they
are too
post
much.
25 stories a day.
Yeah, those are too much. And yes, occasionally I do unfollow people who are posting, even if I like the content, if I don't need to see thousands of the thing.
Mm,
But if you did 2 posts a day, that's still not going to turn anybody off.
yeah.
If they're value add posts, if they add value to my life and they don't piss me off, 2 posts a day. And like to get to 2 great posts a day, that's not an easy thing to do.
That's what I was just about to say is like two times a day doesn't sound like too much, but the thought of putting together 2 quality posts per day can be very daunting. And
Let's just
I'm
say
in
like
the
no
marketing
one
world. I
listening
come from
needs
the
to do
marketing
that.
world, and for me alone, that gives me anxiety.
No one listening needs to do that. I don't do that. It they're larger companies when they get to a point where they have their framework implemented and they're getting real traction. Like in the beginning, you're trying lots of things. You're figuring out what works. When you get it to work and you wanted to turn up the volume on it, 2 times a week will 100% turn up 2 times a day will 100% turn up the volume on the outputs.
Okay. Do you recommend like putting together these posts and scheduling them, or should they just be actually organically posted?
Yeah, I think scheduling is great.
Mhm.
I think planning is the number one most important thing about all of this, and
Mhm.
it's the thing that's not done. But the more intentional and the more planned you can be, the better.
Brilliant. All right. So, basic high level premise of this show is that I want to provide actionable steps that someone can take after hearing this conversation. So, what are 2 things that listeners can do today to increase the effectiveness of their social media strategy?
First thing I would say is get 5 people that would be in your potential client demographic to audit your feed. What is this like? If you come here, what does it feel like to you? What are your takeaways? Right? What is it? Just be brutally honest. What does this tell you? Act like you don't know me. I think you're gonna get a lot of pretty interesting feedback that way. And then the second thing I would say is sit down and make a plan that's about what are you posting, why are you posting, who are you posting for. Like the more intentional you can be, the better.
Love it. And if someone doesn't have the skill set or ability to create their own plan, is there a way they can get in touch with you
Yeah.
to consult on that?
Yeah, ZKFS online, or message me, ZK Painting on Instagram. That's probably best. You can text me or call me 401-935-8702. I have a lot of passion around helping people with this framework part. I've helped a fair number of people now. We have it down to a science, because this stuff changed my life. I didn't have any marketing or any leads, and now I have plenty.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, for those of you listening, Ellison Painting hired Zach as a social media consultant and put together a fantastic framework that we have been negligent in implementing. But it's having that strategy going into 2025, rolling out exactly the strategy that he helped us come up with. We are counting on it, increasing our close rate, increasing our lead flow, and everything. So, Zach, thanks so much for coming on, man. Appreciate you as always. And talk soon.
Yeah, thanks, Brad.